entire passenger rail service ground to a halt today as Metrorail workers began their strike over wages. The strike caused severe disruptions for rail commuters, particularly in Johannesburg and Cape Town. Talks continue, but there are fears of a protracted strike, with unions refusing to back down on their 16% wage demand.
No easy way of getting to work, with snaking queues at taxi and bus ranks, and getting home is just as difficult. It's the first day of what could be a long strike. Metro rail workers are sticking to their demand for a 16% wage increase. But the passenger rail agency says it can only afford 8% on its limited budget. In Cape Town alone, an estimated 600,000 commuters travel daily by train, and they battled for hours to find alternative transport.
I have to say that the people gathered around this table are relatively unimpressed with Transnet, Prasa and the two unions. And it's not for us to direct how they should handle their affairs, but it is for us to note that they have grievously inconvenienced most of the people of the province. The economy is seriously affected, and our message to them is get your act together and get it together fast.
Many commuters share the sentiment.
No, I can't afford this, man. They must sort it out. They must sort this thing out.
Look how many people are standing here just waiting for the taxi, and that is not on.
Metrorail, Shosholoza Meyl and the unions have returned to the negotiating table. But if they can't reach middle ground, we're likely to see lines like this for days to come. Diane Hawker, E-News, Cape Town.
Meanwhile, Transnet workers say they have no intention of ending their strike, which has entered its second week now. The protesters claim the strike is starting to take a heavy toll on the country's harbours.
Africa's busiest port has grown quiet. Durban Harbour is now experiencing a backlog as containers pile up and bulk carriers stay anchored out at sea. Striking Transnet employees are warning the backlog will only get worse, even with temporary workers trying to handle the tide of incoming goods.
There's no containers moving out. You can see on the outside, there's so many vessels on the outside. Customers are, if you read the media and watch the customers, mainly the MSC, the Maersk and the Mall shipping lines are complaining that the customers are suffering the brunt of the strike.
Workers say their call for a 15% wage increase reflects the demands of their job. 40% of South African-bound ships call at Durban's harbour, and with that workload come numerous dangers.
This sign warns of asbestos contamination along train lines throughout the port area. It's just one of the hazards Transnet workers face in their job, as well as flammable materials and heavy loads. Morgan Collins, E-News, Durban.